Hey, what's going on, guys? Boki here. Today, I wanted to talk about the best game I have purchased during the Steam sale. And that game is Doom Eternal. Let's talk about it. Now, I got this game for $15, and originally, I believe it was $40, so I said, you know what, man? I played the previous Doom in 2016, so let's just do this thing. It's the end of the summer, I need an adrenaline rush, and boy, did I get one. Chopping up demons, chainsawing them to death, ripping them apart, you know what it is. Doom Eternal is just that satisfying no matter what emotion you're feeling, right? No matter what state of mind that you're in, right? If you're angry, if you're in a restaurant, bad mood, good mood, had a bad day at work, boss is a jerk, your girlfriend dumped you, you feel lonely, you want to eat something, you failed an exam, play Doom Eternal. It's the answer. It's the answer to all your problems. Now, I'm going to be honest, that Doom Eternal, initially it was a turnoff for me. After beating the 2016 version over and over again, everything is so different in this game. Ammo pickups, they're neon pink and green. Guns, they're floating neon items that you pick up just by running over them with no cool animation, really. Ammo's pretty scarce, like a horror game, right? Or like Last of Us. Okay, not that bad. But you're thrown into this mess of not knowing what's happening except I must kill. But, after playing a few hours and getting the hang of the combat loop and, getting much needed upgrades and some very interesting codex entries, I will say, everything started to click. The story, it felt more cohesive, and there was a bit missing in the gap between 2016 and Eternal, but much of it is filled in, and you get used to the recharging chainsaw. So ammo is never really an issue in this game, even though it's kind of scarce, because all you have to do is just chainsaw an enemy and you get your ammo back, but you have to have that chainsaw meter up. And while I still miss the realistic weapon pickups from 2016, I can kind of understand why they changed it, right? With the pace of the game and just how everything is, it's just a time waster. Yeah, there's definitely some differences between Eternal and 2016, but nearly all of them are for the better, right? Combat, it's more visceral, and while it may at first feel like the game is forcing you into a certain playstyle, it's actually giving you more control on how to manage resources, right? You have to play smarter, but you also have to remedy like any situation far easier than in 2016. You need armor, you gotta cook them. Health, stab them. Ammo, you saw them. It's so straightforward, but very satisfying at the same time. And after experimenting a bit with all the different weapon loadouts, you really don't have to use sticky bombs or zoomed in rifle shots to disable the weak points on all the demons. It's preferable because it's much faster, but I was able to disable them with different weapons or completely ignore them entirely and just overwhelming them with all your firepower. More than likely though, I try to be as efficient as I could and I try to get down their weak points. I will say though, not to really spoil it, and I'm sure you all, most of you have played this game, they really fleshed out the lore of Doom and it made it far more interesting in my opinion. Much of it is implied and hidden in these codex entries that you're going to find, but it actually makes the occurrences of Doom 2016 much bigger and interesting. I thought they did an amazing job with the story and the lore of the game. And this wouldn't be a Doom review without also mentioning Mick Gordon's stunning soundtrack once again. You're pretty much paying for that and the game is free. You're paying for the soundtrack for $40, $15, whatever it is, and the game is free. Think about it that way. You're going to miss shots due to all the headbanging you're going to be doing during this game. It is simply an eargasmic experience, and it perfectly complements the ripping and tearing that you do to these demons in Doom Eternal. I haven't even tried the battle mode, I'll be honest, but this game is 100% worth it, even at full price, just for the campaign itself. It only took me like 20 hours to beat without even hunting for every single collectible. The whole thing was just this adrenaline rush, roller coaster ride of flying gore, pounding metal, chunky guns that you're using with a surprising amount of twists, right? The environments and the experiences. It was awesome, man. I love this thing. They really knocked it out of the park with this game. With the sheer amount of places you get to visit, all the different secrets, the Sentinel cities are so cool. It has this like weird nostalgic atmosphere to them. And from a technical standpoint, it runs really smooth. I've had very few problems with this game on PC. It's extremely well polished. This game was everything I hoped it would be. It was everything I dreamed for it to be. I just slept on this game. I played the older game, and now this game is just, I understand why everyone praises it so much. ID Software should be proud of this game. They should be proud of this masterpiece. For me, gameplay is king, and they nailed the gameplay. The story is still good, but I'll be honest, there's so many times in this game where I'm just running forward, trying to kill everything in my path, and I couldn't care less about what the story is offering. But it was good. It was great. It's this raw, cerebral intensity of Quake, right? You remember how you play Quake and how there's arenas and how you have to pick up ammo, pick up armor, whatever. And it's married married with Doom's enemy roster that they throw at you. You know, it's got this violent, cathartic attitude. And enjoying this game, it requires a certain frame of mind, a certain willingness to push yourself to think in the heat of the moment. You have to use certain weapons in certain circumstances. And it's extremely rewarding if you meet it on its own terms. Nearly every weapon feels like it has a significant role, right? Depending on who you're facing or what type of demon is coming at you. It's a stark contrast to Doom 2016, where there's 2 weapon play styles. The ammo count has been massively reduced. Like, you don't even have much ammo in this game, but you have to be smart and you have to use your chainsaw to get more. And you have to kind of be smart about it, especially if you're at higher difficulties. Overall, I would describe it like Doom 2016, it treats its weapons as like a set of toys. And in this game, you know, it treats them as tools, right? In the old game, it could be used at any time without too much consequence. In this game, you have to use them well to achieve success. The character in this game, the Doomslayer, right? He's more mobile, pretty much in every possible way. And the combat's even more fast-paced, which I love. I'm all about the adrenaline rush. I'm all about the fast pace. Make it a montage, just like having music on, just go, go, go. But the enemies are smarter. They're more aggressive. They're more varied, pretty much all across the board. And you have these new abilities like Blood Punch, Flame Belch, even the Ice Grenade. They've been added, and they provide more tactical depth. The end result of everything, it's this hyper-intense gameplay loop of constant movement, weapon swapping, decision making, and really when you're switching your weapons, it slows down time, so you have a little bit of time to make the right adjustments as you're approaching new enemies. Or if you're just in the heat of the moment. But it is so satisfying. It makes you feel like a demon-slaying god when you finally overcome everything. All in all, from a gameplay standpoint, this is one of the best single-player FPS games ever. In all of the ways that matter most. There's really not much else like this in the modern market. In an age where, you know, arena shooters and movement-based shooters, they're dying out, and the market is overwhelmingly, like obnoxiously shifting towards slower, less intense genres like tactical shooters and battle royales. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that's just the trend now, but it's nice to know that a game like this can still be made and find success. And I just want to say thank you, ID Software. You're really the only AAA developer that still cares about things that I value in a shooter, right? Fast-paced gameplay, where gameplay makes or breaks the game, and this is what it's all about. Let's talk about overall. Simply put, the greatest first-person shooter ever made. I'm not even joking. Like, it's a must-play for fans of the genre and of the Doom series. Very few games that you play feature enemy and weapon lineups where each and every tool at your disposal has a huge strength and weakness from situation to situation. It's extremely challenging and crushing on ultraviolence and the nightmare difficulty, but it's totally manageable and balanced if you know how to play with the weapons properly. So the pros of the game, it's challenging, fast-paced gameplay, fantastic performance, I had great frame rate, gorgeous visuals and presentation, Mick Gordon's music, of course, lots of secret hunting and collectibles. Super shotgun with a meat hook. I love that. That was cool. That was awesome. And plenty of fan service, especially one cinematic in particular. What's great about this game is that it rekindled this flame, I thought, that was long gone. And I haven't really had this much fun, at least in a single player FPS game in a really long time. It seems like that's what the devs decided to focus on. Something I feel like has been lost in the gaming industry for a very long time. It's just fun. Good gameplay. Like I've said this already, but other games strive for realism and mechanics that I just find boring and punishing, right? You play a battle royale, it takes you 15 minutes to get your gear, you get into an engagement, you could die, and then the game's over, right? And then you restart that process. That's just not fun to me, man. And I understand the want for battle royales and why people like them. I do like them to a certain extent, but even Escape from Tarkov, something as intense as that, I just kind of find it boring, right? I don't play video games to be immersed in all that and then die and then just waste all the resources I just took hours to get. That's boring and kind of punishing. And if people like that, I get that. Features like a sprint meter, weapon decay, ridiculous reloading times, like this game says, fuck all that shit. Here, have some weapons and go shoot some shit. Chainsaw stuff when you run out of ammo. Set shit on fire when you're out of armor. Punch shit to death for health. Go crazy. And it's just so incredibly refreshing to finally feel that feeling again, where a game is just fun. It's not perfect either. Of course, there were parts I found lacking in the game, right? The boss fights in particular, they weren't extremely fun, they weren't entirely fun, but as the game is focused on arena shooting, it's just a minor complaint. I love the movement, I love the platforming, I love the fast-paced gameplay that's just focused on fun. And that's what it's all about for me, man, to be honest with you. To me, this is FPS at its best, right? I believe there there are two types of games. Those that strive to send a message, and those that simply aim to entertain the player. Doom Eternal belongs to the latter group. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it's quite the contrary, because it excels at it. It's kind of interesting how the series evolved, right? In Doom 1 and 2, you know, it's this simple atmosphere and a shooting in a 3D environment where it was revolutionary for its time, right? Doom 3, it was this corridor, horror, jumpy kind of game. And then Doom 4, right, which I would consider 2016, it was rebooting and implementing these new techs, but it had flaws, right? And then Doom 5, which I would consider Eternal, it figured out its own direction, and it went full on with it, which why it's going to take some time to get used to the new system. And I think a lot of people, you know, a lot of fans, they kind of feel the same way. It's something new, but it's engaging and it still kind of stays true to what the series demanded. In an age where every piece of media seems to be cannibalizing my childhood in an attempt to sell my own nostalgia back at me, right? Doom is a breath of fresh air. I love everything about this game. The pace, the lore, the gore, the mechanical skill, but more importantly, this game is so perfectly designed. It teaches you how to play it, gently pushing you into the fun zone. When you die, it isn't because the game is artificially hard, it's because you made a mistake and you know exactly what that mistake was. Alright, all in all, love the game. The pros, demons, they have weak points to exploit and then you have to really think about it, which makes it fun. There's fast speed movement combat, that's a huge plus for me. So many weapons to use and upgrade. Replayable campaign with exciting twists. You can keep playing the campaign over and over again with new things to explore, with challenges and different secrets to discover. Some of the cons are little nitpicky things. Weapon switching was a little awkward at first. This game can be pretty exhausting with long missions because it's very overstimulating. There's a lot being thrown at you. Some platforming is just poorly timed or just does not, I don't know, it kind of throws off the momentum with the game. They have to make it more obvious at times. Some people would argue that there's no real incentive for more severe difficulties. I think if you play on normal, that's probably good enough for many people. But for me, I like playing on the high difficulties just to see if I can do it. So, to each his own. And some people think the story is dull, takes a backseat. But for me, honestly, I don't even really care about the story so much. I mean, it is good for what it is. But for me, it's the gameplay. That's what makes it fun. That's what keeps me coming back. So, yeah, guys, that was Doom Eternal. My favorite game that I've purchased on a Steam sale thus far. And yeah, if you want to get the game is, well, it's now back to $40. So the point of this video is to probably wait or, you know, get it for 40 bucks. I would get this game for 40 bucks. I'm just saying it kind of came across my path and I said for 15 bucks, let's go, let's do it. So yeah, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you like videos like this. If you like content like this, I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. Later.